Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome to another Supreme Commander Epic. That's right, it's the format where even your favorite pros end up losing their marbles at the end of an hour-long session or so, or indeed they just quit out because the lag is unbearable. Either way, the replay is always, if not generally, a good show. So we've got some of that on the cards this afternoon. Exciting stuff. First of all, a plea, if you will, guys. The reason why the regularity of casts has dropped somewhat of late is because I am bone dry on replay submissions. If you have anything juicy, I implore you, send it my way. You never know, you might end up getting casted. It's especially difficult at the moment because the replay vault isn't cooperating. They've temporarily removed some of the search filter functions, things that I happen to use all the time, so finding decent replays is really difficult right now. So if you have something good, send it my way, and if you want to know what else make it a good replay, just try picking up your comm and throwing it in someone's face. It's always interesting to watch. So that's enough of that. Let's get on with today's game. As we said, it's going to be an epic. It's going to be custom 6v6, excuse me, and it's going to go down on Hilly Plateau. I'm ready, you guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready, so let's go on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Ching, ka-ching. Oh, it's not instant loading. It's going to be a terrible, terrible day. The sky shall fall, but not until we finish this at least. So let's call this Team 1 up here at the top, and this Team 2 down here at the bottom. Going first for Team 1. Up at the top left, in Pontiff White, going Seraphim. It's Riot, he's opening first land. Rearguard air position in the centre next on the back row. It's none other than everybody's firm favourite, Blood Air in Regal Purple, another Seraphim opening first land. Last on the back row for Team 1 is Modka Fox, our first Cybran of the day in Lurid Green. He's opening first land. And the linchpin of Team 1 today, it's Wesh, our first Aeon of the day in Ferrari Red, opening first land. And the bros up front, Robustness, how very apt there, in Seraphim. Once again, a lot of Serra today for Team 1 in Halliburton Orange, opening first land. And another Seraphim with the Illuminate one over here, this time in Fabulous Vivacious Violet, stomping his way towards the middle there, and he's opened first land. Let's check out Team 2, starting off down here. It's Juraj, or Juraj, but I'm not that effete, so I'm going to stick with Juraj today. It's Baby Blue Aeon, and it's first and second land for him. Rearguard air position over here, it's Drake, another Seraphim in Cyanide Cyan. He's opening first land. Last for the back row there for Team 2, Maptok, another Cybran, this time in Lime Green, and he's opening first land. Central linchpin stuff, another Cybran, this time in Elephantine Grey. It's Limes 3, he went first land, and the bros up front for Team 2. We've got a Burgundy Red UEF. He's on his way towards the middle. It's SN Cat, or Ank Cat, excuse me, Ank Cat 005, and his teammate a little bit further behind, but heading more directly towards the centre. It's No One Cares in Mellow Yellow. He's going Cybran, opening first land. So there we have it. Game quality at 93%. That's what we consider to be a balanced game. And interesting divergence from Team 2, not going straight for the centre. Ankcat actually going over to this little, well, wooded area over here. That's actually a mistake as far as I understand it, meta-wise. Well, you think it might be a safer place to harvest. Yes, it is a safer place to harvest. But what you want to do is get as much of the contested mass, the mass in the middle of the map, as possible, as Team 1 look like they're on their way to doing. It's now going to be 2v1 in this central section, and they will end up, I'm sure, with the lion's share of that crucial early mass. We'll take a look at the mass reclaim totals in a little while, once they've had a chance to harvest. Obligatory interceptors and air scouts going out there from Team 2. Already up at the top left there is Maptok. I'm guessing he might be preparing something. Not yet. I was expecting to see some sort of transport on the way, but no, not as yet. We do have a transport, though, for Drake, scooping up a few engineers there, so he might be going to the top left. The first few shots fired in the center as Wesh joins the party in the middle as well. Now it's 3v1, and Limes did bring his comm forward, but he stopped to harvest the wood over here on the plateau, all of which could be done later once you've got your hands on the contested mass in the middle. I really do feel like that's a bit of an error early game there from Team 2. Robustness is down to around 10,400 HP compared to the 8,600 there on No One Cares. Cybran comms, of course, giving away a little bit of early HP. It's just the way they're built. First drops off in the top left-hand corner there for both teams. And Riot will get 2 engineers off, and he'll get the transport away, but with that interceptor from Drake having locked on, I don't think he's going to get that transport back, and indeed he doesn't. Down it goes, and a defending escort interceptor turns up just in time to see his objective plummet into the sand. Drake also offloads. He's going to bug out with his transport. It's now 2 interceptors apiece, and then it instantly changes there for Team 1 and Team 2. Drake still looking pretty healthy in his inti as he tussles with Blaudir up in this top left-hand corner. Riot is just pulling aerial donuts with his and not actually getting very much done at all. Let's check out ACU positioning elsewhere on the map. Illuminate 1 and Wesh have moved forward to what is definitely still contested territory. They're hoovering up mass in this little network of canyons over here to the southeast of the very center of the map. And Robustness moved up here as well with his comm. And as expected, if you check out Team 1, mass totals so far, they're 7k up. That's huge inside 5 minutes, even for a 6v6. A lot of extra mass harvested. And of course, all of the mass back here and here is still available. So they haven't lost out on any of that by going for the center. They will be benefiting from that still to come. So early advantage eco-wise there for Team 1. Let's see if they can hang on to it. A few Mantis pouring up the middle there from No One Cares. Takes a few shots from Modga Fox's ACU, which is hanging out in the tree line. No One Cares also advancing forward with his commander. Has thrown down a little land factory right in the center. One T1 mechs taken out of commission. And unfortunately just in range of that newly constructed eruptor on the ridgeline belonging to Wesh. So No One Cares is going to just drift westward away from that. Is engaging these handful of Thams there belonging to Illuminate 1. Try and get in around the back here. Is a juicy looking T2 mechs, which would be a lovely early scout there to try and redress some of the losses they've made in the eco game so far. And they're going to scoot in past Robustness, who of course is anchored to the spot there on a T2 upgrade. Won't be going anywhere until that completes, but it's nearly done at 84-85%. And also gun upgrade on the way for Wesh, and that completes. So he'll probably be bringing his comm back to help deal with that. But now they find themselves alone. Can they complete the conquest on this T2 mechs? That is the question. Wesh turns up and opens up on the first Mantis that come into range, and indeed that T2 mechs does go down. Ankcat, look at that early doors kill-loss ratio. That's astounding. Had lost virtually nothing, but it was up in the 20s there for a moment. Maptalk has gone for some early Jester pressure, going after unguarded mexes here and there. I saw a few more Jesters kicking about, but he's only got 1 remaining. Is he working on any more? Yes, he is. 50% done on the next one there. T2 upgrade on the way for No One Cares. 57% done there in climbing. Another gun upgrade for Wesh. Oh, he cancelled. Excuse me. I thought it didn't look like there was any big rate of fire or damage increase. He cancelled that upgrade that he was working on down there to move in to try and save his T2 mechs. Didn't work out, and he lost resources. Would have been better just to let the thing die uncontested and finish it first time round. But never mind, he's got one of the gun upgrades now. Now he's going for speed. No One Cares completes his T2 engineering suite, and Robustness completed his earlier. We've already got the T2 PD up and running and an all-important tactical missile defense, so at least this kind of area will be protected from inbound tactical missile launcher fire, or indeed mobile missile launcher fire. We've got another one over here for Illuminate 1 guarding the main base as well, so not resting on their laurels, playing it defensive on base structures, Team 1, but also pushing pretty hard over here on the ground. Illuminate 1 tangled up with his T1 spam in the canyons there, outnumbered by No One Cares, but he's bringing in his comm. Needs to be a little bit careful. He's He's going in all by his lonesome, and there are a lot of Mantis in here. Hung up on that mountain there, though, so losing out the opportunity to present all of that fire onto the comm. They focus for the moment, but then switch up to the T1 spam. Don't think they would have had enough, even if they had focused, to win out on the comm and get the early kill. But Illuminate 1 nonetheless escapes that little encounter, having taken very little damage on the comm whatsoever. Maptok pretty far forward now with his comm. Jester up here, lurking around the top left corner, just shadowing a friendly radar there belonging to Drake. And Robustness completes a T1 PD just as Maptok tries to penetrate with a small band of Mantis. A couple of Medusas in the mix, but they get nowhere. And now Illuminate 1 with Ilshivas in the mix, carve up what's left of the yellow Mantis force in that little canyon network there. No one cares, went for the T2 engineering suite, of course, and he's thrown down some point defense over here, so he'll be happy to engage in this kind of area, get that defensive bonus. Juraj engaging a handful of Mantis that have made their way around the edge of the map there from Modga Fox. Oh, Strat Bomber. Over the top there from Drake. Hits Illuminate 1. Is he going to try and stick around for the kill? He's got an escort as well with one ASF, so Drake going for it with his T3 Air. Lovely bomb there. Takes out a T2 Mechs and a bunch of engineers. How well is he going to fare? There's a missed opportunity there. Potentially a lot of engineers, but he's turning around. Is he going for Blood-In? No. Gets a massive, massive Mechs kill with huge collateral damage there on Wesh. That's 27 kills for that Strat Bomber that's in the red now, but gets another massive centralized bomb on Blood-Ear's main base. He's got one defending interceptor. No, sorry, air superiority fighter there from Blood-Ear, but there's many more ASFs there from Drake, and now he's going after that T3 power plant. A little bit of hover bombing going on. 45 kills here for the Strat Bomber, down to 95 hit points, and finally gets shot down, but that definitely paid for itself. Wow. Crippling run with that early Strat Bomber there. Lovely work from Drake. All kicked off pretty quickly. We didn't get a chance to give the rundowns on the global ranking and how they fare. Blood-Ear #1 in terms of global ranking on the map for Team 1, 2,300, a whopping 2,300. Next highest rated players are sub 2,000, Drake and Limes. They've got the more condensed team membership in terms of global ranking there for Team 2. Lowest rated player 1,400 and a couple of 1,900s. Blood-Ear leading Team 1, as we said, and short stopping for Team 1, the 1,300 Modga Fox, who is falling behind a little bit. Well, Robustness is on 43 as well. But Modga Fox jostling around the 42 mark when the reclaim subsides. Another Strat Bomber in the center. That's not going to fare as well, though. This time Team 1 more ready for it with some ground-to-air, surface-to-air fire. Got any more strats on the way, or Drake now firmly pumping out air superiority fighters? Looks to be that way. Pressure inbound though from Team 1 as Riot moves to oust Maptok from what was his forward position he was building there. A T2 point defense never got finished, and the shield unupgraded is easily overrun. Ankad is nearby though, got the T2 engineering suite on board, so rapidly building point defense, but is even that enough with Riot there with his gun com blapping away. The triad goes down. It's just the two T1 point defenses that remain. Ankat drops back a little bit further. He's got a parashield there to help protect his com. Immediately gets to work on some more point defenses. Cancels the second one and goes for a triad instead to help get a bit more range to help push Riot back further. Riot still looking dangerous as he seeks to take down those front two T1 point defenses. Losing a lot of T1 spam in the process though. And it looks like he might bug out having not accomplished that next objective. Maptok has dropped back and is starting work on another shield back here. A couple of Cerberus turrets already up and running along with a radar. But a nice little bit of pressure brought to bear there from Team 1 who are on the back foot. It has to be said after that amazing bombing run from Drake. Modga Fox tangling with a few Aeon forces there from Duraj. One Obsidian tank going down. T2 upgrade on the way for Illuminate 1 who's taken a bit of a battering. This will help restore a lot of hit points and make him feel a little safer. That's about to complete. Maptok mixing things up with his units there, getting a Viper mobile missile launcher in the mix so he can poke at this skirmishing force of Riots as it jostles back and forth. Small central position defended partially with one triad there from Ankat. Gets overrun by pressure from Robustness. 5 Ilshivers in this mix. Not the fighter bombers out there from Drake. Switches production up from the strats. Single high-valued units to more disposable and numerous ones. Few hoplites over in the east there for Modga Fox. Provides himself with a little bit more breathing room. And then all goes quiet. Where are we at now in total mass accrued? Seems like an apt time to check it out. So Team 2, having reversed their fortunes somewhat, are up 30k on Team 1. That is a massive turnaround, essentially almost a 40k turnaround from a beginning where Team 1 had the mass advantage. Robustness with a solid kill-loss ratio, holding the line there for Team 1, but Limes completes the first experimental, and as usual, it's a Monkey Lord, being the cheapest offensive experimental bot on the market. Quickest to build. It's always the first to emerge if there's a Cybran playing. Almost always. Gotta temper it with qualifications these days, or someone will get upset in the comments. A little insight into my life there. What it consists of. Little forward base for Limes under construction. It's already got an engineer hanging about in the center, trying to re-establish control. Forward movement up in the northwestern quadrant, though. Maptok moving forward to poke at Riot's forces once again. Riot's seemingly not in the mood for a poke. Drops back. And some Vulthu gunships out from Blodir, who in handling air for Team 1 has been a little bit quiet. Certainly the offensive plays we've seen air-wise have come predominantly from Drake on Team 2. And now we've got some T3 in play up in this top left corner
from Ancat. This is going to be tough for Riot to repel. He's probably going to want some assistance from his air player. Bloodair looks like he might be inclined. No, thought better of it. Felt like it. Perhaps he saw some motion, some movement from Drake's ASFs down here. It looks like we might have even numbers, more or less. Bloodair on 32. Drake on 27 with about 4 out of fuel. And a counter Monkey Lord under construction. Presumably because this Monkey Lord has been spotted. Now, what's he going to do with it? There are Vulthus nearby. The Vulthus are actually focusing for the time being on those Percivals from Ancat, who's pushing in around the front line of robustness. Drake moves in with his ASFs. They tangle. That looks like it was a better engage for Bloodair, who also had a slight advantage in numbers. And for the time being, Bloodair holds on to most of his T2 gunships. That'll be the end of that little Percival force. And that looks like that might have prompted a withdrawal order on that Monkey Lord. Yes, indeed. Brought back to the center. So although that was a really quick Monkey Lord, I think that was up in about 16 minutes of the game. That's very fast indeed. Still wasn't able to get it in and surprise Team 2. Always difficult in a 6v6, especially when the teammates are so condensed. Big positive for the Monkey Lord, of course, is that stealth field that it carries. Your ability to get what is a whopping piece of machinery, excuse me. A little bit of aphasia today. Must need to get more sleep. What is a whopping piece of machinery somehow still manages to creep up on you if you don't scout the thing. But I had a quick check as I was waffling away there, and it was definitely spotted. I think it was Bloodair that reminded or pointed out to his teammates that the Monkey Lord had completed. And that's probably what prompted Modga Fox to start building his. But if you look at eco-wise, next highest player is Maptalk, who's on just shy of 100. Modga Fox way down on 74. So his eco, he really is nothing to write home about. And he's sitting on so much less territory than everybody else. Maptalk has been successful in pushing Riot back in the top left-hand corner, so he's got access to these mexes up here, whereas it's a different story on this side of the map. Duraj burrowed in over here with these sort of roaming armies, has control of the bottom right-hand corner more or less exclusively. But now some siege tanks in the center for both Illuminate 1 and for Robustness. Move in to test those front lines and find out, yeah, they're pretty strong. Turn around and runs back to Mama over here. Nice use of sniper bots there from Riot. But as yet, seemingly unable to get them into a position. What? Check that out. Limes completes a laser and is starting work on a teleport. So 21 minutes in, we already have some dirty Cybran business trying to steal an early scout. Control K's his Quantum Gateway with a couple or about 4 or 5 support commanders out. And it's going to start sapping it to get his teleporter done as quickly as possible. Let's have a look at ACUs for Team 1. Well, we haven't got any banks of T1 point defense up and running yet, so could possibly succeed. It will all come down to execution. How far is he off? 50% done on that teleporter. They've got their Omni up and running somewhere by the looks of things, and have locations of The ACUs, more or less, they don't know where Bloodir is. Wonder if he can get a decent scout from one of his airplane teammates. 76% done. This is an early tele-snipe shot right here, but I guess the earlier you do it, the more likely it is to work. Banks of T1 point defense just become something you build as the game goes on, much like strategic missile defense. You hit certain thresholds on time and think, yeah, I should probably build some of that. There's dirty Cybrans on the opposing team. So there we go. Is he going to activate it straight away, or is he just going to hang on to it because he couldn't work out what else to build? Surely that wasn't the idea. Gets to work on a strategic missile defense, but still no teleport. Is he working on... So he's producing spy planes. Perhaps want to get a read on where they are first of all. Oh, no, but there it is. Can we spot... Can we spot the location? There it is. Has it been noticed? They can see that, remember. The assist ping's going down. Team 1 freaking out. Inbound, dirty Cybran. Immediately the engineers, of which there are many nearby, get to work on the T1 point defenses. It can't be long now before he gates in. There we go. He needs to pick the target, and quickly we've got Wesh nearby and Riot over there. He can't seem to find his target. He zooms in on Riot, but his hit points are failing very quickly, and then he moves. That is how not to execute a tele-snipe. Bloodir gets the final kill with his T1 point defense, and yeah, if you're going to do it, try and find a place, I guess, that's away from lots of engineers so they can't spot it, and immediately get to work on countering. Target priority does not work. Yeah, that's the thing with the Cybran comms. It's difficult once you're in there to get him to attack what you want it to, so you've really got to work on your positioning of your exit point. So Team 2 take an unnecessary early loss there and lose their central player. Illuminate 1 about 2/3 done on an arse washer there. Experimental bomber. Now we really are moving into the T3 phase and experimental phase. Ethotas on the field. Demolishers out. Experimental bomber not far away, although it seems to be crawling now. Forward motion in the top left-hand corner from Maptop, who's got a handle up close and personal with some sniper bots. That's never a good place for the sniper bots to be. Just about going to be successful in getting them under shield coverage. But Maptop a little bit short on manpower to complete that conquest. Meanwhile, forward motion from Robustness, who's pushing in through the front lines of Ancat. Ancat's going to drop back with the handful of Percivals he's got defending this front line along with these parashields. Support commander gets to work along with some engineering drones trying to get T3 point defense up and running, but he's got support coming in from Duraj with a mighty horde of Harbingers. They are going to move in. Interestingly, targeting the siege tanks behind. They should probably focus on the experimental. We've now got 3 Ravagers up, which are primarying that assault bot. And there will be no breaching of the main defense, but they do take down the strategic missile defense. Interesting. Don't know if that was a primary target because they have a nuke launcher up and running somewhere. Quite possibly do. Oh, and that could be dangerous. And there's the nuke out from Bloodir. Out in the back. I did actually see that, but forgot about it. I noticed it when we were waiting for Limes to gate in. Where's that going? It's going straight over to that front line. So going to go deep and get shot down. Yes, it is. So a little bit of scouting fail there from Team 1. Bloodir doesn't get a connection on that nuke. However, Illuminate 1 does get a connection on the front line of Juraj there with his experimental bomber. Bloddir doing a nice job of escort fighter cover there with his air superiority fighters. Drake not even bothering to move his air force in to intercept. Illuminate 1 dropped the bomb and then withdrew. Oh, I completely missed the fact that there was that Modka Fox spider bot we saw earlier that he just finished and got down here. Actually got it pretty deep into enemy territory, but I'm not seeing a huge trail of destruction. I'm wondering if he creeped it in around here somehow. Answers in the comment section or on a postcard if you know the answer to that one. And while you're there, like what is clearly a wonderful video, show these pros how much respect you have for them. Lovely assault there on Maptok's forces, which have been causing so many problems there for Riot up in the top left. Looks like a bunch of trebuchets are going down with that one, but this time Drake does respond, and Bloddir's air force was miles away. Instant kill on the experimental bomber. Numbers potentially with Bloddir, but he gets a fractalized or fractured engage, and so will take many more losses than he had to. It's almost gone even. Oh look, and we've got some ASFs brought in there from No One Cares as well. So Bloddir is going to lose virtually all of his air superiority fighters as well. That is definitely a solid engagement there for Team 2, who, upon losing unnecessarily one of their teammates, were looking for a bit of a win. Another experimental bomber not far off completion, this time for Riot. Probably be a while before he uses that if he's got any sense. Seeming as T1 are in a precarious spot with air coverage. Another precarious spot for Team 1 is the assault over in the east on Modka Fox's forward resourcing options. There's a T3 mechs that might be vulnerable here, but not a lot in the immediate vicinity to help repel this attack from Juraj, who's pushing in with an awful lot of Harbingers. Harbingers, Obsidian tanks. One lone brick shows up from Modka Fox. 3 more or 4 more inbound, but the T3 mechs will be down and out. A small force breaks away from that initial group to contain those bricks. The rest are going to push on in towards the main base. Fortunately for Modka Fox, he's getting assistance on a Monkey Lord, which is nearly done, and also an experimental bomber complete in the nick of time. No One Cares saw the threat from that and brought his ASFs in, but they were promptly dealt with by surface-to-air fire and Bloddir, who seems to have replenished his fighters in good time there. Heavy artillery on the way, meanwhile, for Drake. Moving on to that stage of the game, 31 minutes into this one, and the game zone is beginning to get crowded. Hello! GC makes it right the way up the center. In fact, 2 of them. Strategic missile launcher there, surely a priority target. Shield collapses, locks onto the power generator nearby. That'll take out a lot of those engineers if they can kill it off, which they will now. Actually doesn't. So, quick bit of reflex there from Illuminate 1, reclaims the power generator, prevents it from taking out all of the engineers, but it doesn't matter. Down goes the nuke launcher anyway. They lock onto the Ithota nearby, belong to Robustness. Robustness also with a few siege tanks here and there. Blodir going absolutely mental with T1 bombers, trying to find anything he can to counter these experimentals. Presumably that is a donated experimental bomber there from Riot. I think it's simply been transferred. Actually, it can't have been. It's only got one kill, and that's a fresh one. Can't even see what happened to the other one. But the two GCs are down. Threat contained, at least for the time being, there for Team 1, who are actually operating on a very minor portion of the map. You look at the difference there. A lot of solid expansion from Team 2, holding the bottom right and top left corners. Right now going full Zui spam. Pumping them out of a bunch of newly constructed T1 factories to the left of his main base. Hello! Experimental bomber right over the center, going after Wesh. And it's taken out Blodir, excuse me. I didn't even see he was standing there. So Blodir down and out for Team 1. That is really bad. And that was donated over from Riot, so he must have had another one. Blodir loses everything. Full share. Not on. No fairies have to die today. And that's a massive top-rated player out for Team 1. 33 minutes in. I don't know how Team 1 are going to bail themselves out of this one. Engineers for Maptok cannibalizing that experimental bomber wreck. Captured enough territory. And now we've got Bricks facing off against the Zuis. It's never going to end well for the Zuis. That is solid work from Team 2. Moving in, capturing the space. Harvesting the goodies. Lots of sharing going on for Team 2. Maptok, who's filling up his coffers from that experimental bomber wreck, sending huge quantities over to Drake, who's trying to complete his heavy artillery. And when that thing opens up, that's a whole new set of problems for Team 1. Ah! Well, maybe not. They're going to have the first shot, having just completed an emissary over here. And working on a second. Seemingly taking a while to find that initial target. New phase in this battle has begun with the base-to-base artillery. There we go. Interesting. Very interesting. But Team 2 looking well shielded, I think it's fair to say. Maptok, the only poorly shielded member. Is he the one who's going to come under fire? That wasn't the artillery shell. Here it is. No. The oh yes, he is. That looked didn't that look like that was coming down towards Drake's base? No, it looks like it's actually trying to stop work on that experimental bomber. Engineering drones getting mashed by that artillery. Attack missile launchers from the little ridge over here from Robustness. going after? Is he going after the strategic missile defense? Quite possibly. Another ground offensive, in fact, at the top left and the right-hand side of the screen. One Ethota chasing down Riot's Vanguard over here. And he's split it away from the main base. These bricks could waltz in and cause some damage there while the Ethota catches up with the rest of those units. And this new force over at the east from Juraj has 2 Colossus in it with a whole bunch of Harbingers. Another threat for Team 1. Modka Fox getting involved in the artillery side of things. Seems like Team 1 going full artillery. Oh my goodness. Those air factories and full T1 air production from Riot. Monkey Lord gets 2v1'd as the Colossuses start to hoover up the bricks with their irritating tractor sleeves. Bosh. That's 2 pretty healthy Colossus pushing in towards the main base. The Ethota we saw earlier is now just trying to contend with the hordes of T1 spam that's coming its way from Riot. Modka Fox potentially in trouble here. He had another Monkey Lord as well, but that's getting the laser face treatment. And we've still got 2 pretty healthy looking GCs in the main base now for Team 1. They lock on to the next Monkey Lord, which is under construction. So many engineers waiting to die. They stomp through that T3 power generator. There's a megalith from Wesh that's trying to chase them down. They're going to roll right past a huge quantity of hives, which is just going to instantly reclaim them. And those, in conjunction with the megalith that was chasing them, get the job done. It was tempting, too tempting as it turned out, to push in towards the main base. A better idea would have been to wipe out Modka Fox and work in around the back towards Riot up at the top. But hindsight is a beautiful thing. Feeling very musical today, I'm not sure exactly why. Thota over here, lingering on around 20,000 hit points, finding it surprisingly hard to contend with these little Zooies that are getting underfoot and avoiding his main weapons. But another experimental bomber from Ankat is going to land on top of Wesh and do very little damage. That must have dropped just short. See the dial on his health move 1 iota. He dropped the bomb early, but it impacted on the shield of Wesh's main base. Oh my goodness, 75 hit points on that shield gen. That's going to get a reclaim order. Now, how's the artillery war going? Well, it's gone pretty well. The artillery for Drake has been taken out. They're working on another one. Is there any artillery elsewhere for Team 2 right now? It doesn't appear so. We've got barrages of TAC missiles being brought in, and they breached a shield and just clipped Maptok's comm, who's standing right next to the shield gen. But now shields collapsing all over. Team 1 with how many artillery pieces? 1, 2 for Wesh still. The one that was under construction over here from Modka Fox got taken out in that last Colossus raid. So I think it is just those 2 emissaries. Harbingers and Colossus make reasonably short work of an Ithota. Need to get out of range for the Iron Storm. Starts wrecking those assault bots, which they do. Another volley of T3 artillery fire rains down on the shields of Ankat. Looks like they might be going after the strategic missile defense, but there's two in here at least. It's assuming that area isn't always also covered by this strategic missile defense down here from No One Cares. Half the base is, so assuming he took those out, you'd still have to land a nuke outside that circle. But this is interesting. There's been so much firepower hurled at Team 1, and yet they're the ones who are expanding. Top left-hand corner is now no man's land. By the looks of things, the T1 spam from Riot is actually working. The sheer amount of units on the map forcing Team 2 back off their forward positions. Juraj still firmly in control of the bottom right, however. But these artillery volleys still coming in just one direction. Tsar under construction up at the back. Ouch! And down goes a strategic missile defense. That was the one covering that base that we were talking about. He still hasn't gotten rid of the two in Ankat's base, of course. Oh, unshielded. Wow. Did a lot less damage than I thought it was going to. All these engineers standing around nearby somehow managed to survive unscathed. So many T1 bombers out from Riot. Another Monkey Lord dies in defense of Team 1 just outside the main bases. Juraj with this relentless Harbinger GC pressure combo just carries on sending more waves in from the southeast. But we do have a Tsar completed courtesy of Ankat now moving over the main bases of Team 2. There is an Ithota over on that western approach. And that might get into the main base of Maptok. Ankat is going there with his Tsar. Can he get there in time? I think at the very least, Maptok is going to lose a portion of his main base. Shields collapsing. Chicken from Riot locks onto the power gen. Shields collapsing in the back for Drake as well to the emissary fire. I cannot believe what I'm seeing here. Riot just trying to get that chicken as deep into enemy territory as possible and let the Iron Storm do the rest. Maptok keeps his Quantum Gateway, keeps one T3 power plant and his T3 Air HQ. A couple of sniper bots alive still. I might have spoken too soon, of course, forgotten about the Iron Storm. Gonna lose a core mechs. A few shields getting depleted for Drake, who now seems to be more or less keeping up with that artillery spam. But just a look at the collapse of Maptok's position in the top left. Look how much he's been forced back. That is stunning work from Team 1, having lost their star player in Blodir. Credit to the Seraphim T1 spam routine. Doesn't always work, but it's definitely proved fruitful so far in this one. A lot of extra territory gained for Team 1. Team 1 who are more or less on top of Team 2 in terms of generated eco. Looks like they're hugely far ahead in total eco, but or total mass accrued. Ooh, Tsar shot down there. Oh, that left-hand side. But you have to remember, of course, all of Blodir's base will have been hoovered up, so it's a little bit deceptive. And there will have been a lot of experimentals to capitalize on. From Juraj breaking in through here with his Colossus. And, of course, their own experimentals, the Monkey Lords that have died in defense of the realm. Titans stomping their way in here through a whole load of T1 spam and T1 engineers, loads of engineers just building T1 point defense everywhere, and T1 bombers brought in over the top. Oh, it's an absolute crapshoot. A royal gutter war. Ancat needs to keep those Titans moving, try and evade some of that fire, but what on earth? We've got another teleporter. This time it's from Modka Fox, and this time it has worked. He scalped Maptok, who had sheltered over here after that incoming pressure from Riot. And who else has he got? He got No One Cares as well? That's 2 players down and out from Modka Fox, who escapes. I don't believe it. Dirty Cybran pays dividends. Didn't work out for Limes. And Modka Fox, who's been playing a quiet game, he's done his work defending over here, scalps 2 of the enemy team with that tele-snipe. Unreal. And suddenly it's Team 2 playing catch-up. That is painful. Painful. And that heavy artillery installation, which has got very little working on it except for these hives. Modka Fox has been defeated by Drake, so Modka Fox moves in to try and kill Drake off with another tele-snipe, but he's right on top of T1 PDs over here. That evens it out a little bit, but really, if you were going to trade the player who's been the quietest, arguably the weakest player there for Team 1, for, yes, the weakest player on Team 2, but also No One Cares, who's been pretty central up front for a lot of this game, you would definitely go for it. Bit off more than he could chew, though. Would have been better if he just hadn't made that second push. The old quit while you're ahead routine, but can a counter push now from Juraj even things out? 3 Colossus is coming in front door, and they're going to meet immediate resistance from Illuminate 1, who's got a chicken lying in wait. 2 GCs down, a Tsar down, and of course they've been attacked from this direction so many times. They've got all of the point defense in the world in this area, and now that's yet more mass deposited on their front door. Huge quantities of it. Silver lining, they do at least have some T3 artillery going in the opposite direction now. Modka Fox telling Wesh to target their newly created artillery. Looks like Team 2's target is this area near Illuminate 1's commander. This game, absolutely farcical. Well, at least we're not going to see any more tele-snipes. All the Cybrans are gone. Another experimental bomber completes for Ancat. That's 4 artillery, which are landing at once in the same direction. Drake desperately trying to keep up with shielding his base. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep up with this, quite frankly. That's a huge amount of artillery coming out from Wesh. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is Wesh's bag, it would seem. Tac ping down on top of Wesh's comm. Thinking perhaps if they could somehow snipe him. Some of their problems will go away. That's a massive amount of T1 bombers, which is not going to fare well to clumps of flak, of which there are many here. Skyboxers moving in. Just look at it, raining T1 bombers. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. A tiny fraction of the massive air raid that was dispatched get to actually drop their bombs. More damage was done from the falling bomber wrecks than from the weapons themselves. Illuminate 1 with some air superiority fighters now locks onto that Tsar belonging to Juraj. And they're going to be successful in shooting those down. The Tsars haven't been hugely successful in this one. But I tell you what, this T1 spam has worked out just fine for Riot. It's allowed him to expand, and with the scalping of Maptok, there's no counter pressure to be had. Another experimental bomber. Oh! Doesn't get penetration with its bomb. It impacts on the shield and almost takes out a T3 power plant connected to one of the artillery pieces. But it doesn't quite finish it off. A nuke now out from Wesh. What have we got over here? Juraj taken out by Wesh's artillery. Surely that is the end. The nuke gets shot down. And now the bottom right hand corner goes up in flames. That is surely GG. 51 minutes in. I can't believe this turnaround. It looks so bad for Team 1. But now surely it's only a matter of time. Just needs 1 or 2 more artillery pieces, and I don't think he'll be able to keep them out. And a control K from Ankat. He knows it's over. Down that goes. He's standing right in the middle as well. There you go. I'm going to sabotage your game with my exit also. Cannot believe this turnaround. It's been absolutely unreal. Another wave of T1 bombers move in en masse. I can't believe how successful the mass spam has been generally, because it usually isn't. It has to be said, it usually doesn't fare very well, but Riot has had a unique window in this game to get it to work effectively, and also has had some lucky passages of play, shall we say, from decisions made by his teammates. But Drake now cornered by an Ithota, and that surely will be it. The Ithota is getting locked onto by the point defense, but Drake's HP plummeting before his ACU probably goes critical, and that concludes the game at 52 minutes and 45 seconds. Just wow. Little desync at the end, that doesn't affect us at all. I do not believe, we've seen so many turnarounds, but that was very, very unlikely. With Blodir's demise halfway through that game, and all of the territory, pretty much, it was more or less 1/4 of the map that Team 1 was sitting on, but they just kept out, they kept on defending. A lot of mass was thrown at them in the form of experimentals there from Duraj. They didn't manage to score those critical hits to cripple their economies and set them back enough. And as a result, they were able just to feed off the mass that was being sent to them and to hold out. And then Wesh with those artillery pieces, and Modga Fox claiming 2 scalps with the tele-snipe. That was absolutely crucial, I think, which certainly helped turn this game around for Team 1. But I hope you enjoyed it, guys. If you aren't subscribed already, why not go for it? If you haven't liked the video, what are you doing? Like it immediately. That's not even a request. And hit that little notification bell as well while you're at it. And also, if you want more, you've seen everything YouTube has to offer in terms of Guilecast, check out Patreon for $1 a month. Some 16 casts up there already, fresh and waiting. And I try to get a new one out every week. Not always successful, especially in this replay drought that I'm suffering from. And on that note as well, guys, please do remember to send me your replays if you've got something jazzy. Can't promise to cast, but promise we'll take a look nonetheless. But until next time, guys, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile signing out.